Akash Network AKT is what we are going to be spending this video talking about. And this video is coming off the back end of some pretty explosive price movement for the Akash Network token. Now, we are going to be looking at what is driving this price. Is it the recent listing on a South Korean exchange? I don't happen to think it is, because we actually saw Akash get listed on Coinbase last month, and the token price actually went down, and Coinbase is arguably a larger exchange. I think the real reason that Akash Network is pumping to this degree is because it has taken out a key level of technical significance and is very much destined for higher prices. And we're going to be covering all of that in this video. We're going to be explaining what Akash Network is and why it is going to be absolutely huge. Because if you look at the world we're moving towards, it is an ever increasingly digital one. And with the rise of AI, AI is going to play more and more of a role in all of our lives and actually be central to the world as we know it. And to facilitate AI, just like to facilitate the internet, you need compute and an ever increasing amount of it. And what Akash Network essentially is a marketplace, essentially somewhere in layman's terms, if you will, that you can actually go and get your hands on compute. And this is absolutely huge. And we're going to be talking about why the use case that Akash is fulfilling is such a big one. If you look at the largest companies in the world, they're all essentially internet infrastructure, compute, data storage plays. You know, if you look at Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, which are actually partnered with Akash, they're all essentially compute sort of infrastructure plays, and Akash is a kind of Web3 version of that. So it's an amazing narrative. We have done previous videos of Akash. Unfortunately, and I do say this, Akash actually isn't something that I own. I do own a number of decentralized computing, data storage, AI plays, just not Akash. I've got a lot of people in my group, or a few people in my group, I should say, that do own Akash. We did look at it very early on because I believe that one of the biggest opportunities and one of the sectors that's going to do the best in the cryptocurrency space is AI and compute. So AI and kind of DPIM, but more specifically than DPIM, kind of compute and data storage. Because if you look at AI and what enables and facilitates AI, you need compute to do that. They go hand in hand, and AI is just a massive narrative. So we're going to be breaking all that down. Let's start things off with some of the speculation in regards to what perhaps is driving this price movement that we've seen for Akash over the past 24 hours. And many are speculating that it was to do with a South Korean exchange listing. Now, I don't believe this is the entire case. Upbit is essentially listing Akash. Now, Upbit, I think, is one of the largest South Korean exchanges, but it was actually only last month, on the 18th, that Coinbase announced that it'll add support for Akash Network and the AKT token on the Akash Network, and they actually went live with this on the 19th of March around 12 p.m. And if you look at what the token price actually did on the back end of, I believe now, the largest exchange in the world listing this token. This was just some squiggly draws that we were doing with Patreons pre this break, kind of speculating on this. You know, you can see this is the 19th of March when it went live, and you can see what the token did. So I don't believe that the price movement that we're seeing for Akash Network is necessarily, is it a factor? Undoubtedly, but is the main driver behind why Akash Network is doing what it's doing from a price point of view to do with the South Korean exchange listing? I don't think so, because we'd have arguably seen a bigger move if that's what was driving the price on the Coinbase listing, as it is one of the largest exchanges in the world. I think really what's going on here is you have now sort of broken out. The volume on this breakout has really confirmed it. And I believe Akash Network is potentially heading into the hundreds of dollars. But I will be doing an Akash price prediction video at a later date, round about where I've got Akash's price, potentially. Remember, this is not financial advice. Is in the tens of billions of dollars. And I think given where the cryptocurrency market as a whole is heading, you know, it's plausible to see it get there. And on top of that, the sector that Akash is in is, for me, the hot sector in crypto. This is bigger than DeFi. Again, just to really reiterate this and stress this, if you think about AI models, they are exceptionally compute intensive. For example, Sam Altman, when he came out with Sora, at the or a similar-ish time, he came out and said he wanted $7 trillion for chips. So things like GPUs and CPUs, mainly GPUs, which Akash Network is all about, ladies and gentlemen. Now, NVIDIA themselves, who are partnered with Akash, came out and kind of said this is a bit off the mark, a bit over-exaggerated. But I think even if it's a bit over-exaggerated, the point is very much still made that if we are going to, and I don't want to get too dystopian with everybody, move to a world where AI is directly impacting thought of your everyday human being, and it's playing more and more of a role in regards to healthcare, in regards to education, in regards to content, and we're nowhere near that yet. The need for compute, which is the oil, if you will, for AI is massive, and Akash are essentially enabling and facilitating this in a decentralized Web3 manner. The narrative here is an absolutely huge one, ladies and gents. And again, if we look at the largest companies in the world, there's an AI element in them, obviously barring Saudi Aramco. But if you look at Microsoft, they have Microsoft Azure. If you look at Apple, AI, computing resources. NVIDIA is essentially just a GPU and somewhat CPU play. Alphabet, again, with their Google Cloud. Amazon Web Services. Meta, even so, with their services. The largest companies in the world, ladies and gentlemen, that are trillions of dollars in terms of value, are essentially infrastructure plays, web infrastructure plays. And Akash is kind of like the Web3 version of these, if you will. So this is a video that, we're not going to dive too much into the price. We're just going to be kind of showing you the kind of move that Akash has made, telling you that we think this is because this is a project that is now broken out of key resistance and is likely going significantly higher. It could end up in the hundreds of dollars. And this is the reason why, because it's the narrative behind compute. If you look at the world that we're moving away from, oil is kind of central to it. It's the kind of resource that enables things. Well, if you look at the world that we're moving towards, which is going to be entirely digital, or for the most part digital, compute plays a central role in all of that. So compute is massive in the Web 2 space. Right now, we're using compute. You're watching a video on YouTube. There's compute involved in pretty much every step of the way when it comes to the internet. The internet's going to become more and more of a thing. It already is a massive thing. We all kind of use it. Your phones use compute. Everything uses compute. And actually Web3, and certainly AI, times is that by orders of magnitude. And if you have a decentralized version of this, first of all, that's very important for not ending up in a real dystopian world where essentially you have three companies that control everything. And they've done a lot of good, these companies, in regards to getting humanity to where it needed to be. They've enabled a lot of things. They put the infrastructure and the time and the money and everything in. But if you look at what this industry was spawned out of a need to move away from centralization, to give power back to the people and do that through a distributed ledger. This is what has been done with Bitcoin and money, although Bitcoin's practical application as a money, I don't think it would work. More of a store of value and escape from the centralized fiat systems. We need decentralized compute, because compute, you could argue, in the world that we're moving towards, could be more valuable than money, which sounds absurd, but we don't know what the economy of tomorrow looks like. Certainly if AI displaces many jobs, just like what we saw with the rise of machinery in the agricultural revolution. So I'm going way off topic here, guys. I'm really going down a rabbit hole. But the sort of premise of this video is just to sort of reintroduce Akash to people. It's done a lot, but there's a danger in it's done a lot, meaning it's not going to do much more. I don't think that's the right attitude. And if we look at NVIDIA, you've now broken out. Akash is essentially here, and it's got, quite a bit to come. This is one of those charts where everyone was saying, oh, it's going to have to top here, it's going to have to top. Key break on volume, just like kind of what we're seeing for Akash today. And then you get a real epic run out of it. If you look at the volume coming in here on the weekly, this volume would be present across the board just to go down the exchanges. So if we look at Gate.io, very similar. So Bittrex obviously isn't even trading it anymore. It's not on. It's still not even on that many exchanges. If you look at Coinbase, I mean, like I say, this was only the listing. This is why I don't think the listing is necessarily the reasoning behind this move. More the fact that you're taking out a key level of significance. You could be looking at some sort of an inverse head and shoulders here. And I think I was drawing this from my patrons when we were kind of selling off. I was looking for some sort of a bottom. You bottom pretty close. A break, some sort of a retesting consolidation before you then sort of make your way up. But I will do an entirely separate price prediction video. This was really just a video to get Akash back on everybody's radar to explain why this is such a big deal. Again, partner with NVIDIA. The largest companies in the world are computing infrastructure companies. Akash is a Web3 decentralized version of that, setting itself up at a time when the need for compute is going to become infinitely more. And it's bringing elements like decentralization to that game. So Akash Network, guys, get it on your radar. It's going to be a huge one. I want to know your thoughts in the comment section. This wasn't particularly a deep dive, more of just a general purpose video, talking about the move that we've seen, the reasons why I think that move has occurred, and talking about the kind of value proposition that some of these decentralized computing networks like Akash bring to the table. Definitely one to watch. On that note, I'm going to love and leave you. Thanks a lot for watching, guys. See you all in the next.